Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the CI Sports Zone. I'm your co-host, Christopher Huselig, joining with me, the other co-host, Thomas Garbrick. We got a little bit of a different episode today. You know, generally we start with high school, going to college, and some NFL. Due to holiday and then some snow stuff over the weekend, Jonathan will not be joining us today, but don't worry, he will be on next week's episode. So just kind of, before we get started here though, Thomas, there's one thing I have to do.
What inspired this?
Oh, I don't know. It's just, I'm in a holiday mood today.
I like it. I like the holiday music.
Yeah,
it was a bummer to miss the podcast, but obviously missed it for a very important reason, getting married last week. So I was gone. So Well, so I come back. I left a bachelor and I come back a married man, and I feel like I'm more dialed in. I'm more dialed in. Can't wait for the show. College football playoff preview. Yeah. Big time. So can't wait. Shelby's a big supporter of the podcast. She loves that.
Shout out Shelby.
Yeah, we get to talk about that every week, and she loves the fact that, we're living our dream here, just talking sports and having a good time. So we're ready to talk all things college football playoff. We got a lot of NFL talk because a lot of heartbreaking stuff happened over the weekend for sure. So
well, like you said, we're going to talk a little before we get to the playoffs. Though the one thing I would like to talk about is the greatest game in American history was played on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Army-Navy looked at the last regular season game each year, 126th episode of the game, and it did not disappoint at all.
No.
I'm a big, as you guys know, as you know, Thomas, from my texting during the game, big Go Army guy. My dad served in the Army National Guard for 17 years. So big Army family. Very disappointing how they lost. The announcer said it in the first half, going into halftime. Last year, Navy was winning at halftime, and it felt like they should have been winning by more. That's exactly how this game felt for Army in the first half. It was 17-3 or 17-7 or something. It was a decently close game, but watching the game, it felt like Army had quite the demanding presence in that first half. And I kind of talked about this a little bit with you before the podcast. It felt like coming into the second half, Army was more in the mindset of let's not lose than let's go ahead and win this game. They run the best offense in football to kill time. And you even mentioned it. It felt like they were trying to throw the ball a little more than we probably would have liked for an Army team who's in the lead. Triple option is very fantastic for wasting time. And it just, I don't know. It was a great game. Navy's a really good football team. It's a very competitive game with, the Commander-in-Chief's Cup on the line. Trump was at the game. It was just...
Yeah, he did the coin flip, which was pretty neat.
He did do the coin flip.
Yeah.
So then the one thing that, it just irks me, and we talked about this too, Navy has the ball on the 1 yard line. I believe Army's up by a touchdown, or they're up by 3. They're up by...
It was 16-10.
Yes, they're up by 6.
So Army had just thrown the interception. Yep. Navy was driving. Their quarterback, Blake Horvath, took the direct snap, QB sneak, and fumbled the ball, and it was just sitting there.
And the Army defender, literally, his eyes I saw his eyes. They went like... Oh, yeah. He was like, he saw the ball, he saw the end zone, he tried to pick it up, fumbled it again. Yep. Navy jumps on it, and then Navy gets sacked the next play, so they're a little bit further back, and then they throw a touchdown.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy sequence.
And so it was just...
Crazy sequence that literally defined the game.
Why that Army guy didn't just dive on that football... Here's the thing, is there was 2 minutes left in the football game. You're winning by 6, running, like I've said twice already, the best offense to kill time.
Yeah. I think there was a little bit more than 2 minutes on the clock. I want to say
it was. There,
I think there was like 5 minutes left when that happened.
Was there more time than I thought?
There was a decent amount of time, but to your point, you just fall on the ball.
Get on the ball.
And I think it's just instinct to try to scoop it and start running with it. But it's like, hey, you got to know it's like just fall on the ball.
Especially late in the game, you're up. That's a huge momentum swing in your favor because your offense just threw a pick. Well, defense went out and got it done. We got the ball back. All your offense, even if there's only 5 minutes left, all your offense has to do is get in field goal range.
Couple first downs.
Kick a field goal.
Yeah.
Game's over.
Sure.
And it's just obviously in the moment, he didn't see that offensive player there.
Yeah.
He sees a ball on the ground. He sees nobody near him. Let's pick this up and go. But I just, in my opinion, and obviously we are blessed with one, we're not in the middle of the situation. There's no adrenaline. Like,
sure.
I see a ball on the ground. My thought is, hey, let's get on it. But I mean, shout out to, in his defense, you see a ball on the ground. You see no one near you. I have a chance to put this game completely out of reach.
Right.
With under 5 minutes to go in the game. It's just it's a heartbreaking way for Army to lose a very good football game. Both teams played really well. It's always fun when you can watch Army, who runs that triple option, have their quarterback Cale Helms, I believe his name is, roll out and throw absolute dots to his tight end team. It's just fun to see teams that historically ground and pound the ball be able to air it out a little bit. But
yeah, I love the tradition of it. I love seeing all the cadets dressed up and fired up. And when either team scores, you see them go right to, their student section per se, if that's what you want to call it. But yeah, just a crazy game. And it's actually neat. So Blake Horvath is from my hometown in Columbus, Ohio.
Cool.
Yeah. So good story. He's been one of the more decorated Navy quarterbacks that's ever, played quarterback for the midshipmen. So it'll be interesting. And I guess they have another quarterback who got a little bit of playing time. They kind of ran like the Wildcat or whatever. And, he looks like he's going to be the real deal too. So definitely a fun game.
It was also a fun fact. They said it a couple of times. Army's quarterback in high school had 8,000 passing yards. And then he went to Navy. Yeah. Or he went to Army.
He went to Army. And where they just run the ball.
And they're like, so they said they were like interviewing him, and he was like, I got a great opportunity. I couldn't. It's like this quarter. It just shows like sometimes you may be good at one thing, but he was a third string quarterback in camp in the spring, and he ended up becoming their starting quarterback. Really good football player. So just kind of shows that kind of with hard work and determination, like a guy who was a passing quarterback turned into a triple option threat. And so just always fun to watch. Great game, though. It's always
good,
fun.
Nice little one game to have. I know that there was some bowl games going on, but we don't.
It's always a great way to end the season with those two. It's like I said, it's one of the longer running rivalries, and it's just it's America's football game, man. We love to watch it. We love to see it, and also the fact that we talked about this a little bit too. The neutral stadium's always fun. No one really has a home field. This one was played at
the Baltimore Ravens Stadium,
where the Ravens play.
Yeah.
So, just it was really fun to watch. Didn't go the way we want. I personally would have liked it to have gone, but also the best part of the game we haven't mentioned yet. How about those uniforms?
The uniforms were great. The uniforms were spectacular, and then at the end, it's cool. They each sing their song, and
yep.
It's a cool moment of camaraderie for both squads.
The one thing I will say, I think Navy had the cooler helmet. I really liked Army's jerseys though, the plain simple with the "We the People" font on it. Oh, that was I don't like giving Navy props, but that helmet was awesome.
Absolutely.
So anyway, it's one of those games that we had to at least bring it up and
talk about it a little bit, because now we are entering crunch time of the college football playoff season. The round of 12, the first round kicks off.
Here we go.
This weekend, Friday night, Oklahoma hosting Alabama. We've got the brackets out. We're going to spend the next 20 minutes maybe talking about the whole our bracket predictions, what we're looking out for. And so yeah, we got our little appetizer game on Friday, and then we've got the 3 games on Saturday. So we're pretty pumped for it. Should be a really fun tournament, and we look forward to seeing who's going to
especially
win it all this year.
While last year was the trial run for the 12 teams, I feel like this year they really kind of ironed things out a little bit.
Yeah.
They fixed some of the, we're not having Tulane with a first round bye.
Yeah, that's definitely good.
I'm also excited because last year we had that situation where none of the first round bye teams got a win. I don't see that being the case this year.
Yep.
But kind of, I guess, to get rolling here, Thomas, what if you just want to start in the top left with Oklahoma, Alabama, and then we can work our way around?
Might be the best game of the weekend.
I think,
might be the best game of the weekend. We'll see. It was interesting because I always look at just lines for the game. This has got a game total of just 40.5 points. So that's basically suggesting that this is going to be a defensive battle, which is your kind of game, Christopher.
Oh, I love to see it. Especially, here's the thing that I love. Back to Oklahoma's Big 12 days, how often did people say they had a good defense? Because, well, that didn't happen in the Big 12
Right, because Lincoln Riley was the head coach, and he wasn't recruiting defense. He was recruiting for offense. But this is an interesting matchup, right, because these teams just played a few weeks ago.
And it was
Alabama.
A really good game.
Slugfest. Oklahoma came away with a 2-point victory to basically keep their college football playoff hopes alive. If Oklahoma would have lost that game, they are probably not even in this thing because they would have had 3 losses. But now the game's being played in Oklahoma. Alabama off the SEC championship game. They did not look good against Georgia. You've got the rumors of Kalen DeBoer maybe going to Michigan. Now he's already come out and said that I'm not going anywhere. I'm really happy at Alabama. It's so interesting. Bama is beat up. Their best running back, Jam Miller, did not play in the SEC championship. Not sure what his status is going to be this weekend. It's just fascinating because everybody's probably going, oh, well, Alabama's playing terrible. You know, this is by far the worst football that they're playing. They didn't look great against Auburn, right, a few weeks ago in the Iron Bowl. But Oklahoma has just been the team that they've grinded out wins all season long, right? Great defense. John Mateer and the offense have made just enough plays to get it done. So I don't know. This is truly a toss-up. The line suggested as well. I'm going Oklahoma at home, though. I like the Sooners at home. To me, this is going to come down to whose defense can make more plays and give me the better defense in this game. I think Oklahoma's defense manufactures points, maybe a great interception return, maybe a fumble, maybe just the battle of field position. I like Oklahoma at home. I think that place is going to be rocking Friday night.
Yeah, for exactly what you said, I also took Oklahoma for this one. I think Oklahoma's going to be riding the fact that the last time these two faced, they went to Alabama, they got it done. I think while John Mateer has kind of that after that from that surgery on, he's kind of not looked quite to the level he was before, but still, I think him and that Oklahoma offense will get enough rolling. As you said, they find a way to do enough to win the game.
Yep.
And honestly, they're going to be in Oklahoma, in Norman. That's a rough crowd to play in front of.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I think also with the a lot of stuff surrounding Alabama getting into this one. I think Oklahoma's going to go into it with we got to prove that, we don't think, whether they think they should have been in or not, Oklahoma's going to go in and be like, it doesn't matter because we're going to beat you anyway. I think Oklahoma's defense is fantastic.
Yep.
And
one of the best in the field, in my opinion.
Yeah, and so I really like that Oklahoma team. I don't really obviously it'll be a close game. I do think that much, but
yeah, it would not surprise me if Alabama won this game.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either. I think the Sooners will get this one done.
Yep.
The one thing I do say for Alabama is they lost their first meeting at home.
Yep.
They're going to come into this game with the mindset of we're not losing to these guys again. They came into our home turf. They had their way with us. They beat us. Obviously, it was a 2-point game, so it's not really having your way. But you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's hard to beat a team twice in a season. I just think Alabama's kryptonite has been when they don't run the football at all and become one-dimensional, that's where they find problems offensively. That's what happened in the Oklahoma game. That's what happened in the SEC championship game. That's even what happened in the first game when they lost to Florida State. I just think that Oklahoma is going to make them one-dimensional. And I think Ty Simpson's still a very good quarterback, but I just think that give me Oklahoma at home. So,
yeah, they're a hard team to root against at home in a big game. It's just hard. So the kind of moving on then, the next game, that Oregon James Madison. I know you're really high on James Madison in this one. I heard you're taking James Madison to win it all.
That is not the case. I know that Alex Berger, huge James Madison guy. Here's my thing. I know that everybody talked about just we need to reevaluate how we are seeding these teams, how the qualifications to get them in. No offense to James Madison, they're a good Group of 5 team, but I mean by far have the worst strength of schedule and strength of resume in this tournament because they didn't play anybody. And I understand by the rules, they had to take the 4th highest ranked conference champion. And by that requirement, James Madison got in, which is a shame because a team like Notre Dame or Texas or Vanderbilt obviously would have made this game a little bit more entertaining. So there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people rooting for Oregon and Ole Miss this upcoming weekend to just beat the brakes off of Tulane and James Madison. So that way they just get rid of Group of 5 teams.
Well, here's the thing too. We talked about this too with last week with Patrick. He brought this up, and it's a great point. Every other sport has this too, but for some reason, football has a problem with it. Basketball does it. The conference champions make it into March Madness. Baseball does it. It's just for some reason when it comes to football, people have a problem with it. Yeah. I don't. I think Tulane and James Madison should have a chance because they won their conference. They should have a chance to show what they can do in a football game. Are they going to win? No. Could they win though? Anything can happen.
Sure.
And I don't think it's fair to their conferences to not even get a chance to be in it because they're a smaller school.
Yeah.
Here's also the NIL implications, the recruiting implications. I also saw a lot of players from like Indiana came from schools like Tulane, like James Madison. So it's just they're transfers that moved up. So I think it's outlandish to say they're not good football teams. And I don't think that they're bad. Tulane absolutely has no chance against Ole Miss. Ole Miss is having a coaching crisis right now. We know that. Like they're kind of in the dumps, not in the dumps like football wise, but kind of like
Ole Miss
publicly, they got some stuff going on. So,
well, I think they're pretty fired up that they promoted their defensive coordinator.
I think there are too, but I think it's people like I said, football is the only sport where people are like, this is terrible. This should not be allowed.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, I don't disagree. I know that people, like I've got a buddy who has said that every team matters, and I get that. I hear that. I think every sport is different, right? I think with basketball, the beauty of March Madness is you have a field of 68 teams. Now, you can't do that in football because of the season. You play once a week, whatever. I've heard people talk about this, and I'm all for this idea. I think what they need to do, and we're going to talk about Illinois State's big win against UC Davis that got them to the FCS semifinals. I think what they need to do in college football is have your Power 4 national champion and then have a Group of 5 national champion and make a separate bracket, right?
Or here's another thought I had. What if we added a play-in game? So
could do that too.
So say we have the first 2 out this year were Notre Dame and who else was it?
My thing, like Notre Dame, Texas, and Vandy.
Yeah, so then you have James Madison and Tulane have to face off against Notre Dame and Vandy, and then the winner gets in. Because, like, obviously you can't expand the playoffs a whole lot more than it already is.
The only thing you could do is have it go to 16, and if they would have, like, for example, if it was 16 this year, then you would have had Notre Dame, Texas, Vanderbilt, and BYU I'll probably get in. Everybody's happy. So maybe that's what they ended up doing.
But like I'm saying, because then you get the Group of 5 who still have a chance to make the playoffs, but then you don't have to worry about the first round playoffs being a absolute blowout. So that was an option I heard that would, because then you'd have Notre Dame and like Texas or Vandy or whoever was that the second team out. They can face Tulane and James Madison.
No, listen, I get it. Like I understand why the Texases, the Vandys, the Notre Dames were very upset. Here's my thing. I'm happy for these teams if they're truly the best of the best. But James Madison did not play anybody this year. They played nobody, right? Like that's the issue I have. I think there needs to be a little bit more of a prerequisite as a Power 5 school that if you want to be considered, like you need to schedule a little bit harder of a non-conference.
Or just allow one group of 5 in, so either Tulane or James Madison would have really.
Right,
I can get with. So here's the thing. I think the group of
James
5.
Madison lost to Louisville by 14.
Yeah, I think the group of 5 should be allowed at least one team. I do see that.
That's fine.
Like if it was just Tulane, say it was Tulane and Notre Dame in, okay, I don't think anybody would complain.
Sure.
I think it's the fact that we have 2 of them. But like I said,
the problem was the fact that because James Madison was ranked, and who really screwed this whole thing up was Miami. Miami screwed this up because if Miami would have won the ACC, they would have been in. But because that didn't happen, by their rules, they had to put the 4th highest ranked conference champion, which was James Madison. Again, I have no problem with Tulane. Tulane beat North Texas, who was ranked. No problem with that one. I do have a problem with James Madison and just the parameters of what it took for them to get in. Because, again, I think Oregon's going to just beat the brakes off of them. But we'll see.
Yeah. I think the Tulane-Ole Miss game is going to be a better football game than what we're going to see with that Oregon James Madison.
Now, I would love to see a group of 5 thing eventually because, again, like I went to a major school. I covered the Ohio University Bobcats in the MAC. There is a huge talent disparity between group of 5 teams and Power 4 teams. That's the reality.
You could almost do like an NIT kind of thing that March Madness does. Is you have the main bracket,
have
a secondary.
Just have a national champion for your Power 4 school, and then have a national champion for your group of 5, and then you have a 16-person group of 5 bracket, and you make those part of the bowl games. Make the bowl games more interesting, right? Because the bowl games, people are opting out. That would be my proposal down the road, because the NIL resources that the Ohio States, the Alabamas, the LSUs, the Oklahomas, any team in the field against the Tulane, you don't have a chance. But we'll see. We'll see. There's a reason why the games were played on the field.
Hopefully they prove you wrong.
But yeah, I'm going Oregon. We don't need to spend too much time on that game. We're going Oregon over James Madison on Saturday.
And then give me A&M in the other one, Texas A&M over Miami. Not really. I honestly don't think that's going to be very good. Texas A&M is a very good football team. Miami, I'm not super high on. They kind of squeezed into this playoffs in a very interesting manner. But I don't know. It's just that Texas A&M football team is really good, and I think they have a shot to make a run in it. They could play really well against Ohio State too. So I'm also on the move on that one because I don't think Miami's going to do very well, but they could. We'll see.
Yeah, I mentioned this a few weeks ago when A&M was undefeated and before they lost to Texas and even before they almost lost to South Carolina, the way that they were playing really concerned me, just their style and, how deep they could go and that they would be a very dangerous team. It's interesting because A&M, they didn't have to face the top of the SEC, right? Mm-hmm. They got kind of fortunate with their scheduling. I still think A&M's really good, and I don't trust Carson Beck in Miami in a big game against A&M on the road. So I'm going the Aggies, which would then set up a really interesting matchup with Ohio State, which that game is being played in Dallas, Texas. So that definitely geographically
favors
a little
the
bit
Aggies. Of a favor to the Aggies.
Favors the Aggies, which I know a lot of Ohio State fans I've seen have been very upset by that. But I've always said, look,
it's the luck of the
at
draw.
the end of the day, Ohio State fans travel really well, and believe it or not, they will be there no matter what. So I'm also going A&M, and then I'm going Ole Miss over Tulane. I think Tulane might make it competitive, but
I agree.
But it looks like we're going with all home teams. Again, last year was all home teams in the first round. I don't see a road team this year. Again, I think Alabama and Miami could win, but I trust A&M and Oklahoma more than I trust Bama.
Miami. I'm on that same road there as well.
Now I feel like the round of 8, this is when it really starts. I truly think that we're going to have 4 excellent quarterfinal games.
Oh yeah.
Starting with Indiana and Oklahoma. I think if that game happens, I'm still going with Indiana.
I can tell you right now, it doesn't matter who Indiana takes. I'm going on Indiana. They're riding the wave. Mendoza, the Heisman,
They've got Signetti. They beat Ohio State. They're rolling.
The only thing I can see getting in their way is if they were to lose a game, I would expect it to be that Oklahoma, for the sheer fact that they're kind of in their heads right now. We got the Heisman winner.
Sure.
We won the Big Ten, and we haven't played football in 3 weeks. So that is if they lose a game, I honestly think it'll be that Oklahoma game. Because Oklahoma, if they pull off Alabama, will be coming in hot and heavy.
Yeah.
We just beat Alabama. Mendoza won the Heisman. We got something to prove, but
yeah.
I'd take Alabama. I would take Indiana in that quarterfinal matchup over Oklahoma. But if they lose one, I think it will be that one.
Yeah, Indiana is a complete football team. They don't beat themselves. I was really impressed with how they were able to. They made all the big plays, right? Mendoza made some incredible throws in the Big Ten championship game. Their defense came up with several stops. They were winning the battle of the trenches. They won the short yardage battles with Ohio State's offense when they were on defense. I like Indiana. I think they move on to the semis without a problem. Tech, Oregon, if that game happens, I think that is going to be an excellent football game.
That'll
Texas
be
Tech
fun to watch
against Oregon. And I'll tell you right now, there's going to be a lot of people who just say, I think Oregon wins that game because of the brand, because of the name. I really like Texas Tech. Yeah, I like Texas Tech. This is a team that, yes, they play in the Big 12. It's not as good as the SEC or the Big 10, but they play winning football.
Well, and
they play winning football.
Here's also the thing is, the Big 12 is they're finally starting on the up a little bit. You got Texas Tech, you got Kansas, who's finally being a competent football team. They're still not crazy good, but they're getting there. You got teams like K-State who find ways to win each and every year. Then you have BYU, you have Utah, you have Houston, you have I think while you're right, the Big 12 is not the SEC.
Yeah.
I think they're not what saying you play in the Big 12 is not what it meant 10 years ago, where it was like, okay, whatever, who cares?
Tech's a good club, and I think because people are going to overlook them, I think they're going to use that as fuel, and I think they beat Oregon. I like this Oregon team, but again,
Dante's a great quarterback.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, Dante Moore, Sadiq Bey at tight end, unreal prospect. Those guys are going to be great, I think, in the NFL. But I think in this game, I like Tech. I'm still the jury is out. I know that Oregon is ranked 5th in the country. They're really, really good. They're Oregon. Dan Lanning's a great coach, but their best win this year is still against USC.
And then they almost lost to a Penn State team who absolutely crumbled. So
yeah, we'll see. I like Tech. I think a lot of people will pick Oregon. I like Tech.
And if Georgia Ole Miss, I think the Bulldogs will get that one done. I really like this Georgia football team. Georgia's kind of hard to root against or pick against sometimes. You got great coaching. They always kind of have that go get them mentality. They're going to come out. They're going to play hard, smash mouth football, and they're just a fantastic football team.
So I'll tell you what, it's hard when you see this bracket not to just pick chalk and pick the highest seeds because they're the best teams. I'm going to go against it in this matchup.
Ooh.
Just for fun, right? I'm all for a good story, and I think it would be a great story if Ole Miss beat Big Brother Georgia in the SEC, the powerhouse, to get to the semifinal, and Lane Kiffin is just sitting over there in Baton Rouge watching his old team make a little bit of a run.
That would be awesome.
So just for the sheer storyline of people memeing Lane Kiffin going, oh, Lane, you shouldn't have left, man. Ole Miss, they're rallying behind their new coach. They're fired up. I like this Georgia team, but this is a very beatable Georgia team. This is not the same Georgia defense that has been able to just shut people down. I know that Georgia did beat Ole Miss when they played once, but I like Ole Miss. There's just something about being motivated because Lane Kiffin said, you know what, you're not good enough for me. I'm going to go coach at the shinier place in LSU. Give me Ole Miss on a neutral field. They pull off the mini upset over Georgia to advance in the semifinals. Give me something to root for. Give me a good story. Give me a good story. The Rebels.
Well, then that brings us to what I think will be A&M and Ohio State. And just to spite you, I'm going A&M. Come on, man. Ohio State's coming off that loss to Indiana. They're going to have a first-round bye. They haven't won a game in almost a month at this point.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, as you said, when they play great, when they have it together, it's a scary football team.
Yep.
Minus that loss to Texas, they've looked really well this season. And honestly, losing to an in-state rival is really nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But like I said, you haven't won when A&M or Ohio State hasn't won a football game in a month. They are coming off a loss to Indiana. Maybe it's prime opening for number 7 Texas A&M to kind of pull out a little sneaky victory here.
Yeah. I mean, I guess my counter argument, though, to that is Ohio State has more recently won a football game than Texas A&M has.
That's fair.
So if we're going to use that logic, but no, you know what? After kind of watching back that Ohio State game, it was an emotional letdown, right, after the Michigan win, right? They hadn't beat Michigan in years, and I think that Ryan Day would never use that as an excuse because it's not. Indiana made the plays that they needed to make to win that game. I think that Ohio State is going to regroup like they did last year, right? Lost to Michigan. I mean, they were 3 touchdown favorites in that game, lost, and then they just ripped through the tournament, right? Beating Oregon, beating Texas, beating Notre Dame. This Ohio State team is still, in my opinion, the most talented team in the country. Maybe not the best team, right? Because Indiana did beat them. But this is still the most talented team in the country. They just did not play to their capabilities in the Big Ten championship game. But I'll be honest, this is not a good matchup, right? Texas A&M is, in my opinion, not truly a 7 seed. But again, Texas A&M has not really beaten anybody since they beat Notre Dame at the beginning of the season, right? You know, they didn't have to beat. They didn't play Georgia. They didn't play Ole Miss. They didn't play Oklahoma. They didn't play Alabama, right?
Yep.
So I do think that people are going to see that and go, oh, SEC school against Ohio State. And again, Ohio State has had a mixed bag against SEC schools. I think that Julian Sain is going to use the fuel that nobody paid attention to him during the whole Heisman thing. It was all about Mendoza. It was all about Pavia. I think Julian Sain's going to come in. They're going to get to work. And they're going to get the job done in Texas to move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, and then
who would have thought me predicting that?
What a shocker!
What a shocker! What a shocker!
Then I have that would leave me.
That gets us to the Final Four,
and I have Indiana, Georgia in the finals. I think Georgia's going to get it done. Indiana's kind of a no-brainer to me. I think Indiana is national champions this year. I think they're the best team. I think they are the best team. While I don't disagree that Ohio State's super talented, I think Indiana hasn't shown they're going to make those little mistakes in a game, while Ohio State has. Now, granted, it was against Indiana. It's the one game they didn't play the cleanest game of football. So until Indiana shows that they're going to make mistakes, I'm inclined to believe they're not going to.
Yeah.
Signetti has something to prove. Last season didn't quite go how they wanted. They started off really well, and then kind of last half of the season, they were still a really good football team, just didn't quite go how they wanted. So I think going into this playoffs, I think Indiana is going to have a chip on their shoulder. Mendoza's going to want to show he is the best quarterback, no matter what anybody may be saying, because people aren't happy. I've been seeing all over Twitter people are upset that his numbers really aren't the craziest. Which
I think people with the Heisman get way too wrapped up in numbers, and it's like, look at impact.
Look what
right?
he did with that.
It's like he transferred and comes in, and they go undefeated. They win the Big Ten.
One of the losingest programs in football history. They have 900 total losses as a program.
Right.
Literally, statistically, one of the worst football programs we have ever seen. Mendoza comes in undefeated, wins the Big Ten. People
now, some people are going to argue that, is that more Curt Cignetti? I think Mendoza is a very good college football quarterback. I don't know what he's going to be like in the NFL, but he's a good player.
We have seen really good coaches with terrible quarterbacks do terrible.
Yeah.
Whether you think Mendoza is that guy or not, he came in and he helped the program. And I don't know. People, like you said, people look into numbers too much.
Well, yeah, that too. And it's like Indiana was literally blowing people out, and so he didn't play in the fourth quarter in a lot of games.
Yeah,
you know, but
he didn't need to throw for 800 or for 18,000 yards in the season to win games.
Yeah, I get it. You know, people look at it, but Mendoza, very worthy candidate, and everything that you said about Indiana is very valid. I also, if Indiana and Tech play each other, I think Indiana gets to the championship game. I think the Hoosiers are destined to get there, but again, they've had some lucky bounces go their way this year, right? You know, they almost lost to Penn State.
There we go.
They pulled out the game against Ohio State, right? You know, you just wonder, you know, do they get all the 50-50 money plays, I like to say? Do those go their way in the playoffs? We're going to find out. But I like Indiana. I think they get to the championship. If Ohio State plays Ole Miss, if Ohio State plays Georgia, I think we are destined for a Big Ten championship rematch.
I don't think that's crazy. I just have someone else because
I
wanted to be different, and I like to make you I like to give you a hard time.
Yeah, I think most people, when you look at this bracket, most people have Indiana against either Georgia or Ohio State. And I think that's valid. I think those are the three best teams. Would I be shocked if Oregon beat Tech and then Oregon beat Indiana? No, but Indiana beat Oregon. Would I be shocked if Tech beat Indiana? Honestly, no. Like, I really wouldn't. But I think when it's all said and done, Indiana, Ohio State rematch, I think we want to see it. And give me, I can't believe I'm going to say this, give me Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes to avenge that loss to Indiana.
What a homer.
I'm going to be a homer because I believe. I believe in Julian Sane. I believe in Jeremiah Smith. I believe in Carnell Tate. I believe in that defense. I think Ohio State avenges the Big Ten championship loss. I think they're going to come out and play more aggressive all season or all tournament. They're going to win 3 games. They're going to win it all again. They're going to be a back-to-back national champion.
Man, I like you said though. I'm really excited for these games.
I'm pumped. I can't wait. If Ohio State loses, will I be bummed? Of course, but I'm bummed. I'm just hoping to see how it plays out.
I am hoping they play out how we think they should, and they're good games. We have solid, with the exception of James Madison. I think Tulane can put up a fight. I don't know if they will. We'll see.
Yeah.
But outside of those games, I think we're gonna have some great football played. And
I just hope they're close. Like if these games are not close, I just want close thrillers. I want last possessions to matter. I want game-winning field goals, game-winning touchdown drives. I want overtime,
blocked field goals.
Yeah, just
picks to lose the game in the last second.
We want cinema. We don't want blowouts. And I have a feeling that this college football playoff will deliver.
Yeah, well, Thomas, I think we're going to take a quick little break here. We've been talking for quite a while about these college playoffs. As you guys can tell, we are pumped. So thank you guys for joining us. We will be right back after a short break. Welcome back to the CI Sports Zone. I'm Christopher Huselig. Joining with me, as always, my co-host Thomas Garvrick. We just got done with a great little chat about some college football and the college playoffs. Now we got some Mayday in the NFL a little bit. Things are looking a little different. Teams who didn't really think much of in the preseason have been playing really good football, and I have no clue who's good and who's not. I really don't know.
Yeah.
You got the Patriots who had a commanding lead over the Bills and lost it. The Chiefs are mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. We will have a playoff without the Chiefs for the first time in 11 years.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL. I will say this. Patrick Mahomes has still never played a snap where he's mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So
that's pretty crazy. I mean, I also saw a stat that in 2011, that this is going to be the first AFC championship game since 2011 where Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes is not playing in that game.
That is
I mean, just think about how crazy that is, right?
It's also just look at the as a Chiefs fan myself, or if you're a Patriots fan, how blessed you've been. You've seen, as you said, we have seen three different quarterbacks win the AFC championship. It's It's been Kansas City, and before that it was the Patriots, and then you had the Bengals thrown in there for a year.
Yeah.
And then the NFC is like the complete opposite. It feels like someone else is winning every year.
Safe to say that my Bengals-Eagles prediction is not going to happen.
Hey, I will say Alex's prediction of the Broncos in the AFC Championship was not as crazy as we all thought.
Well, I think it was crazy, but like just to see how it's unfolded, right?
That was good call by him. I will say.
Pretty crazy that the Denver Broncos are the number 1 seed outright in the AFC as of mid-December. Yeah, pretty crazy.
And then also always hope Patrick's knee becomes all right. You never want to see someone tear a ligament like that. We also saw Micah Parsons do the same thing.
Yeah, I've had some really just devastating injuries.
Playing football, I had a coach who would always tell me, you want to hurt people, you don't want to injure them. There's a difference. You can play when you're hurt. You're going to get hurt. People hit hard, you're going to get hurt, but you never want to see torn ligaments, broken bones, like things like that suck. And I'm not even saying that as a Chiefs fan. He's been looking at Micah Parsons, ACL tears at this point in the season are rough because there's a good chance you miss a good portion of the next season too. That's a 9-month recovery if everything goes perfectly. Now I'm kind of I like to look on the bright side. These guys will have the best surgeons in the world fixing their ACLs, and then they'll have the best therapy teams. So does it take them 9 months to recover? I don't think so. Especially Mahomes being a quarterback, I don't think it'll take quite as long. For Parsons, it might be a little bit longer because he's doing more agile stuff. But just prayers up to those guys. Hope they can get a speedy recovery and play some more football because they're two really good players. Even if they weren't really good players, but they're two really good players that aren't near the end of their careers yet. So it'd be great to see them hit that field again.
Yeah, they'll both be fine. Yeah. They're both still young. It stinks for the game, right? And the Patrick Mahomes injury just kind of summed up the Chiefs' season. It just a tough, brutal season. Gardner Minshew comes in and throws the interception.
Gardner, all you had to do was keep a hold of the football. You were in field goal range. Now granted, Harrison Butker's woes on the season, I have muchly voiced those in the group chat, but now would they have won in overtime? Man, I doubt it. I doubt it. But it would have been fun. So
you know what? Like
I'm looking at this on the bright side.
I know that people are celebrating that the Chiefs won't be in, and I get it. We enjoy seeing somebody else win, right? But I think for the Chiefs, it's like for the fan base, it's like wow, like Nick Wright actually said it best. Like this has been an incredible run. It was going to end eventually. Unfortunately, it ended with a Patrick Mahomes big time injury, and
I'm going to say this:
they'll be fine.
Jeremiah Smith, you're coming to Kansas City, baby.
Yeah, the question is when will Patrick Mahomes play next year? So that's going to be the big talking point. Will Travis Kelce? Will this be it for him? I know that he came back this year. Will he come back again?
I'll be interested.
This injury?
I'll be interested to see if he doesn't. What do the Chiefs do? The Chiefs try to go get like Sadiq from Oregon? There's a lot of people posting about the dynasty's over. I don't think with Patrick Mahomes at the helm and Andy Reid at the helm, Patrick Mahomes behind that offensive line, I don't really think you can say that yet. Especially after one bad season, and then especially like
Mahomes is in his early 30s.
Yeah, and then he's got
plenty of good.
Looking at the number, also that offensive line has been absolutely ravaged this year. Had to pull up a practice squad guy to play in a game, and he didn't do terrible against the Chargers. So
yeah, I think everything that Kansas City was kind of masking for a long time, right? I think they've got to address. They need to get a true feature back. Kareem Hunt has been great. Pacheco clearly is not the same dude that he was when he was first on the team. Had that great season. He's had a lot of injuries that have definitely you can tell he's not the same player. Hunt is a good change of pace back, but obviously Kareem Hunt is not in the prime of his career anymore.
Well, and he's like watching him run is fun because he'll get you you need 1 or 2 yards. He's gonna get it. He's not like he was his first time around in Kansas City where he'll bust a 60-yarder down the field. You know what I mean? So it's just Kansas City.
They got to. There's a lot of things.
Picking up running backs in the draft isn't super hard because there's a lot of them. You can get
right. They drafted Brashard Smith. You wonder if maybe he plays a little bit more next year.
I think watching him run, I think if he wasn't sitting behind Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, because he can catch the football and he can run, which is what the Chiefs need because they're going to throw you the ball more than they're going to hand it to you.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, because obviously they invested a lot in Xavier Worthy, right? He's been just up and down. Is he going to be a consistent guy going forward? He hasn't really. It feels like every time I watch him play, he gets hurt like every other game or during the game and limps off and then comes back in and then
they keep. Here's what the Chiefs. I think they need to get a big-bodied receiver because they keep trying to throw those slants to Rashee Rice, and he just gets murdered because he's not. He does. Like Derwin James. I think there's still an imprint of Rashee Rice's body in the turf because you throw a quick slant, you get a big safety like Derwin James coming downhill. If you're not a large dude, you're going to get smoked. And then, Tyquan Thornton, I think he's going to be that guy for Kansas City. He just came in this year. They were testing out Hollywood and Juju. I think they're going to get away from them and
they have a lot of veteran receivers who are past the twilight of their career. I think.
And they tried to hold on to him a little longer.
They need to get a big-bodied receiver, and they need to get a factor back. They need to address that offensive line. And then defensively, they need to address that secondary.
Yep.
But again, those are all things that you can correct it and move forward.
One game I did want to talk about though, dude. How about them Bears? Oh my goodness, them Bears look good.
People have been disrespecting the Bears all year because I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because everybody's just so used to the Bears losing because they're used to when you think of the Bears and playoff success, you think back to the Jay Cutler Bears where they, made some runs, faltered, or you think about when Kyle Orton got the Bears to the Super Bowl against Peyton Manning and the Colts. But, I've said this from day one. Ben Johnson was the best available head coaching candidate by a landslide. Liam Cohen was a close second. But it's no surprise that the Jags are doing well with Liam Cohen. And it's not a surprise that Ben Johnson and the Bears are really good. Caleb was very good. That defense, that's been the big one for me, is that defense has gotten substantially better from week one to now. And again, when it gets cold in December, the Bears can run the football. Caleb's not turning the ball over, and their defense isn't giving up big plays.
Well, and then
they can win.
Especially when you look at the teams they lost to. They lost to the Vikings the first game of the year.
Yeah.
And then they lost to the Lions. And they just kept winning for a while. They're not losing to teams that, why are you losing to them, So it'll be interesting. I'm really excited to see the Bears play. My Chiefs are out. I got to find someone to cheer for.
Bears play. And what's interesting is I think last time I checked, I think the Packers are still favored in their next game, Saturday night.
Really?
In Chicago. I think the Packers are still slight favorites in that game. Let me see, because I'm very curious. Now, granted, I'm sure that things could change from now until then. But yeah, no, the Packers are still favored, which is crazy to me, especially with the fact that Michael Parsons is probably not going to be playing in this game.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say he's not playing.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that he's out. I don't know if they've confirmed that he tore his ACL, but Christian Watson got hurt. I think the Bears are going to win that game at home, which would then put them ahead in the NFC North. And then it really comes down to, can the Bears win out and then see how the NFC West shakes out? Because the 1 seed is still in play, but I'll tell you what, if I'm a Bears fan, I would be rooting for Seattle to win.
Yep.
Not LA.
Yep.
Because if I'm a Bears fan, let's say the Bears do win out. Let's say that they don't get the 1 seed. I would much rather go to Seattle, believe it or not, than go to LA, and here's why. Matthew Stafford has proven this year, in my opinion, he should win the MVP.
I agree.
He has been unbelievable. You saw what he did to the Lions. Now, the Lions' defense is not very good. It's not. Not a good defense. But I like the Bears to slug one out down the road in Seattle where where you're going up against Sam Darnold. versus if I'm playing in a climate-controlled LA stadium where Matt Stafford's just going to do everything that he normally does, right? I think, the conditions, the Bears would actually be in a better place if they had to play an NFC Championship game in Seattle where maybe the weather, it's rainy, maybe it's snowing, right?
Yep.
The Bears have proven that they thrive in those conditions, right? Yep. I mean, granted, they were playing my Browns, but they embarrassed them.
Yep.
So we'll see. But I think at minimum, if the Bears went out, they'd at least be the 2 seed, which means they would be hosting a first-round game, and I think they would win that game.
Yep.
And I would argue that if you're the 2 seed, you're then guaranteed to host another home game. I think there is a world where the Chicago Bears win the NFC North and they win a couple playoff games, and we're talking about them in the NFC Championship game.
Yep. Well, Thomas, we do got to take another quick break here. So when we get back, we'll talk a little bit more about our Monday picks as Thomas is making some ground on Alex.
All right.
So we will be back after this short break. Welcome back to the CI Sports Zone. I'm Christopher Huselig. Joining with me, my co-host, Thomas Garvrick. And we've had some good talk about some college and NFL. And Thomas, now we're just kind of get into our pick-em challenge we have going on here. We're coming down to the last.
I'm 2 behind Alex. You're 4 behind you.
You're 1 behind Alex.
Oh, I'm 1 behind
3
Alex.
behind me.
Okay.
There's not a big gap, but that is.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
There is here. I'm gonna blow this up a little bit so people can see it a little bit better. There we go. So you're down.
Look at that, Christopher Mean Mug.
Yeah, I need to get that picture retaken. I don't like that at all. But the chin's a little more chiseled out now, if you know what I mean. But last week, Thomas being the only one to pick the Chargers, he did.
Yeah, how about that?
Catch up
Finally,
there are 3 Monday night picks left. So I can only tie with Thomas. I cannot lose to him. So I will at least be splitting a pizza.
Well, so here's the deal. So no matter what, I have to just pick against you then. So I'm going to let you pick because I'm going to have to pick whoever you don't pick.
All right, we're going to start with Alex. He's out sick. He's having some voice issues. He sounds pretty rough. I talked to him on the phone earlier. But so his pick for today, I believe he picked the Dolphins, and he did. So Alex is going
with the Dolphins in frigid Pittsburgh. Okay.
Dang it. Give me the Steelers. I'm going Steelers. I don't really know. I don't like that Dolphins team. I have a hard time picking the Dolphins because they just haven't looked good this season.
Yeah.
The Steelers are not a whole lot of a more solid pick, but I believe that game is in Pittsburgh, and Tua is not good in the cold.
Wait a second. So the rules of this is whoever comes in last. So basically, I'm only 1 off of Alex.
Yes. You just have to. You either have to tie or get above Alex. So it's whoever comes in last. You don't get anything for winning. Maybe you get an extra slice of pizza if there's one left over.
That's true. So really, I'm competing against Alex here.
Yes.
So he went Dolphins.
Yes. Yep. Dolphins at Pittsburgh. I saw a statistic last time the Dolphins played in the cold, and Tua is not good when it's cold.
No, he's not. Oh, man.
So I'm going Steelers. That's my rhyme and reason right there.
Man. I was going to go Dolphins, even though, they are terrible in the cold. But I have the opportunity, if the Steelers win, for me and Alex to be tied.
With 2 more left to go in the year.
So that's the strategy. Do I go with the Dolphins to try to maybe get lucky and just pick against you for 3 weeks in a row and see what happens? You know what? Hold on. It's 2:59. I know we're on the clock here. I want to see really quickly, what are the last 3 Monday night or the last 2 Monday Night Football games? We've got.
I hate to break it to you, but if I'm only 1 ahead of you, I'm just going to pick whatever you pick.
Well, yeah, you're going to have to pick. You know what? I'm going to go Steelers. I'm going to go Steelers. I'll trust them at home tonight or Monday night. We'll see what happens.
Well, there you have it. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us on the CI Sports Zone. Once again, Alex was sick, so he wasn't able to join us, but he got me his pick, so we appreciate that as always. But thank you guys so much for joining us on the WMVD Plus app, and we'll see you next week for Christmas time.